Hi everybody, it's Ethany. Welcome back to my channel, or hello if you are brand new here. I am here today with a VR, so video response to a fantastic video tag that Sapling Tarot created called Tarot Bartender, and I binged watched a ton of these videos when it came out, and I absolutely had to get amongst it. I absolutely had the Gemini panic about which decks to choose. It was really difficult. I went back and forth and freaked out a number of times, but I finally got my prompts down. I cannot wait to share them with you. The prompts are below the menu, the drinky menu. My choices along with the links to where you can find them are below, and of course, most importantly, so is the original video link from Sapling Tarot. If you haven't checked it out, go ahead. I apologize in advance because you're about to go down a rabbit hole of tarot amazingness, and it is really fun. So also, I don't drink. I have never been a big drinker. I can count on one hand the amount of times in my entire life I have been drunk. I just don't really like alcohol. So I have tried a few of these, but I also think, mocktails as well are just as good. So I had to look up some of these cocktails, but I loved this idea and I think it's so fun. Let me know in the comments if you have done this tag and I haven't watched your video. So let's go and take a look at my choices for Tarot Bartender. Our first drink is an old-fashioned, and it's a classic take on a deck. And I have never had an old-fashioned. I might have had a sip of an old-fashioned, but I can't tell you whether I have or not. But I chose the albino or albino weight for this one. This is US Game Systems. This is a very old copy. As you can see, mine has bowed a little bit. Do I care? No. I shuffle really dramatically. Anyway, I adore the different colors in this. Now, I own a lot of Rider-Waite Smith type of decks, lots and lots, and I really like this different color take, and it's easy to work with, but it's also interesting and fun. Oh, so pretty. I don't always bring this one out, but I wanted to show some different decks with this video, so I thought I would bring this one out. I just think it's so cool. Now, do I know if you can still get this? I think you can. I think you can. If you can, I will pop it in the description below. It came with a little white book, nothing special, but I love the difference in colors in this, and I love the yellow in the swords. And this is my pick for the old-fashioned. I could pick up, however, any Rider-Waite Smith inspired deck and run with it, but I wanted to show you a different perspective with this deck, and I really like this one. She's so pretty in all that yellow for the element. So that's the albino weight, or albino. The next is the G&T, a bit of a gin and tonic, G&T. If you know where that's from, you're Australian. And look at this. Freaking old. This probably should use washing. I don't know if it's ever been washed, which now thinking about it is super gross, but I put it in this one because of how the backs match it. And yes, it is the Morgan Greer Tarot, and yes, it has been used a lot, as you can see. She is in my retired section of my collection, and it doesn't mean I get rid of them. I wouldn't ever, but it just means that I only bring this deck out very infrequently for myself. but it is no frills for me. This was the little handout, the little thing that it came with. As you can see, this is from, I don't know, 1993 probably. My gosh, I was 10. And the edges are a lovely off color because I have done so many readings with this. But this was my go-to client reading deck for years, and I really ought to have checked that they were all up the right way. Now, this is definitely no frills. This is definitely straightforward. I think this was probably one of the first decks that was really borderless. Correct me if I'm wrong. But it was one of the first that I worked with, and I've been doing this for a bloody long time. I don't know, how old am I now? I'm like 21 years, 20, I don't know, 20, I don't know, no, what, that's not mathing. A long time. I'm old. I love this Nine of Pentacles, and I love that it just has the Roman numerals. I have read so much with this. As you can tell, it is no frills for me. It is, I could pick this up. I love this very, I think it's like 70s vibe of like the moustaches. I adore the color palette. I have Morgan Greer's in a tin as well that I often will travel with because it's just something I'm so used to. Love this Queen of Swords. Working with and just having, I love decks in tins. She's so beautiful. I worked a lot with this deck. I studied this deck a lot with a few books, and I adore the Morgan Greer. It had to come, again, lots of them upside down. It had to come out when we were talking about this tag because of just how kind of iconic it has been for my journey, and how it really just reads lovely. It's straightforward and no frills. I also do not like gin at all, and I don't ever think I've had a full gin and tonic. I've had a sip and I remember not liking it, but that's my no frills, my G&T pick. The next prompt is the Dirty Martini, strong and salty, and this was so easy. I had to bring out the Fortune Queens decks. I backed both of these on Kickstarter, and reading tarot cards is what? Fundamental. This is by, both of them are by Enjoy My Cake. We're All Born Naked and the Rest is Dragon Tarot. And I love these for being the Dirty Martini. I have never had a martini. The time has come for you to read the cards for your life. So cute. They've done a Coraline deck and a fetch. Stop trying to make fetch happen. Mean Girls. They are big babes. They are really, really big. So this is a standard tarot card. This is my Cosmic Wisdom. So they are Rouge. So they don't always come out, but I had to say, yes, this is the salty. So we've got Shanji, this beautiful world card with the judges and with Sasha, baby Zahara Benet, who was the very first winner of Drag Race. Now, Vanjie, now this is a deck that not only really inspires this, well, as you can see, it has got Rider-Waite all over it, but I also know a lot about a lot of these drag queens and Asia O'Hara, and kind of like their stories and who is on here and all that kind of stuff. So that's Crystal Method and the Lady Bunny roast, the death of Lady Bunny. They had to read her eulogies. And so I think it adds to that, right? Oh, was this Jane? Oh, I think so. Valentina. I'd like to keep it on, please. So I'm not going to kind of, oh, Trixie, I'm not going to go through, I guess, all of them, but I love Courtney Act, so gorgeous. I love, 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 love these decks. And if you do know anything about the drag race world, or the drag, so it's Raven and Juju, then, you know, it's just one of those things where you can really enjoy it. Now, I love that this deck is also Riju Rochu, is really also a reminder that we don't necessarily have to take everything too seriously, right? So I really love that. Bianca, who is this very, very sweet individual. Katya. So this is just gorgeous. This is the first one. No, maybe not. I don't know. I can't remember. Hang on. This is volume 2. So this is the first volume, which is in the purple. And then this is the second volume. And what I like, not only is this like an indie deck, but the Cosmic Library is open, is that if you can't read the cards for yourself, how in the hell are you going to read the cards of somebody else? Can I get an amen up here? I also love that it's just some of the things that, you know, the queens have shared over the years, and they both come with little colour booklets with the information. I don't know if you can still get these, but as you can see, the backs are very similar to, not that I would ever merge these because it would just be very, very confusing, but the cardstock is different for them, but the sides are the same. And it's just very, very like one of those things where, yeah, these would be straightforward, strong, and like this was so funny. And if you know these queens, there's also, you know, times when you can put some wisdom, you know, from these queens into your reading. Like Alaska is such, she came in a dress made out of a trash bag, you know, and she's got cockroaches on her dress. And it's a reminder that, you know, luxury or the world of the material is not always about like the finer things in life. This is Katya as strength, and we've got her Russian doll that they made puppets, and she has this beautiful swimming look that was so iconic, but she didn't win that lip sync, but she should have won. You know, there's just so many like really cool different takes on things. Jan, oh my gosh, who was so criminally underrated and really just, I think, was slammed for loving being there too much, which I think is ridiculous. The same part's so good. What's the tea? So I think there's a lot of really fun things that can be Snatch Game put into this if you read it, as well as if you knew something about the queens as well. So I think it's these are really, really fun decks. So Brooklyn and Vanjie. Oh my gosh, what's her name? It starts with an S. She won that year too, and she had the witch costume. Oh my gosh, it's going to drive me nuts. The girl groups. So yeah, I think it's fabulous. And those are my picks for the Dirty Martini. The next drink is a Pina Colada, and this is the deck for a summer holiday, and I had to pick the Tarot for the Great Outdoors. And this is a mass market deck. And I actually remember having a pool party as a teenager with my dad, making us virgin pina coladas. So I actually quite like a pina colada, or a pina, or pina, probably it's a pina. I actually like them when they are non-alcoholic because I don't drink. Now, I think this deck is so underrated. It could have been in my underrated mass market decks video as well that I recently just did. This was such an easy pick too. I'm like, hello, outdoors. I mean, living in the Pacific Northwest, there's so much beautiful stuff to do in the summer. And also growing up in Australia and being Australian, you spend a lot of time outdoors. Now, this has a lot to do with the oh my gosh, national parks in America, but you don't need to have to know anything about it for the national parks or anything to enjoy it. The backs are beautiful and reversal. I love anything with mushrooms and purple. Look at this artwork. It is so underrated. It is, the cardstock is quite thin, but again, I don't care. And if you can hear Apollo grouching, I'm sorry. But this is so beautiful. Look at the artwork. So, and it does have where the park is on only the major arcana. So you have sticks, vessels. Like, look, who wouldn't want to do that? How can you not think of that when you think of a summer holiday? Oh, and we had caves like this in Australia, Jewel Cave and things like that. Blades, vessels, stones. It's just so gorgeous. I've been to Yellowstone. And sure, if you live somewhere else and you don't have I love it, sticks and stones, it's so great. And you don't have some of this imagery, that it might be a little bit discombobulated. But I also think that there are images that are universal. Like prospecting, I think it is fantastic. And I have got lots of decks, and I did have a lot of decks in Australia where there were, well, you know, snow and other animals that I had never been in contact with or seen, and it didn't matter. Look at this sun. So, so, so underrated. This artwork is beautiful, and it absolutely reminds me of I wonder if that is of a summer holiday. So I wonder if Zion National Park, if this is like Uluru in Australia. Someone will have to tell me, or maybe I'll Google it afterwards if I don't forget because of my ADHD, where this space is sacred and you're asked actually not to walk on it, but people do anyway. So I think this is fabulous. And if you haven't seen this before, I'm so glad that I could introduce this to you. And if you have and work with it, then let me know. I think it is freaking stunning. And I've seen these guys. Like, look at that. Oh my goodness. Just beautiful. Such an underrated deck as well. It could have gone on that list. So if you don't have this and you like the look of it, go and support the creators, because it is mass published, but I don't know if I don't know if how much they get from this, but I just think it's gorgeous. So that is my Pina Colada. If you like pina coladas. I'm sure I'm not the only one who's had that in their head. Deck for a summer holiday, tarot for the great outdoors, total banger. Next we have the hot toddy. I have had a few hot toddies in my day, just especially if I'm not feeling well, but not anymore. I don't even remember the last time I've had one. I think the last time I had one was when I was sick on a mine site, and then we're talking like 2008 maybe, long time ago. And it is the Silver Acorn Tarot, one of my favorite decks of last year. And this is the first edition, and this is written by our friend Madame Pamita, the book. And this deck is gorge. It is so pretty. I would love to have the space for some of Stephanie's other art. So we got a little first edition thingy there, but she does like figurines for some of these. First limited pressing of 1,000 copies. Now I saw Stephanie, I think these are all sold out. I think you can get the second edition now. I followed Stephanie on Instagram for a long time. So when I saw that she had the tarot, I signed up to her newsletter. The nanosecond that it went out for pre-order, I bought 2 copies because I was like, love, and I was not at all disappointed. As the wheel starts to turn, this is probably going to come back out for my decks for the fall, and I really did want to do more showing you guys the decks that I was working with throughout the year, but it has been a very tumultuous year. This reminds me of like Halloween cartoons that I would just wait desperately all year to watch. It makes my inner child happy, as well as just an absolute super easy deck to read with. Every time I have used this deck to read for clients, they have asked me about it. I have no regrets about getting 2 copies. It has that linen press finish. Sure, it's probably going to be for some people and not for others, but look at this, a beautiful pear Queen of Pentacles. But it is so up my alley. I can't even tell you how much I freaking love this deck. It is just everything that makes my little haunted, want to live in Halloween town life happy. I literally was thinking, because I'm packing for the Northwest Tarot Symposium, because I'm going to be there next week, and I was literally thinking I have like very Gemini two personalities. I have either Care Bears and rainbows and sparkles and like that Fae deck before, and Halloween. Wednesday Addams, Morticia Addams, Angelica Houston, the Witches, Death Becomes Her. I mean, honestly, the house is full of Halloween stuff. We had a Halloween themed wedding. Like, I am obsessed, but it's very Care Bears or Halloween. And I love this deck so much. I love it. 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 So if you've seen this from other people, then that's like, it's like this, it's just fabulous. Then I'm really glad. If this is the first time you're seeing this, I'm so glad to introduce this to you. I don't think there was any changes in the first and second edition, but if she ever did a second edition with different changes, you bet your bum I would get it again. This was indie, so it was expensive. This was worth it for me. And if she ever does an Oracle deck, I'm there too. Actually, I'm a huge, huge fan. So with the guidebook, like that Hierophant, stop it. I love frogs so much. You do get a really decent guidebook as well. So for the major arcana, you have, important symbols and interpretations. So like a lot of thought went into this. So I just think that, I love Madame Pamita so much, but I just think it's amazing. So that's my hot toddy deck. Can't wait to bring it out again to start reading this fall season. And that's my pick for this little drinky. The next drink is an espresso martini, and I have definitely had an espresso martini. My younger sister used to drink them a bit, so I've had a few sips. I wasn't keen on it, but I have had a sip of an espresso martini, and this is the energy boosting deck, and I had to bring out the light seers. Now, I am a spoiled person. I have got the limited edition from Kickstarter, and that is somewhere very safe. I could dig it out, but I wasn't going to. I have got this version, the Hay House version, which is now the version that I have out when I'm going to read with it. And I have the version in the tin. And if you haven't seen this deck, you must be living under a rock. And Chris-Anne just finished her big companion book. So congratulations to my dear friend Chris-Anne Donnelly. I am so happy for you. I adore the shit out of you, and you are just a beautiful, beautiful, creative, gorgeous soul. And the reason why I picked this for an energy boosting deck is this just remind, maybe it's because I have the pleasure of knowing Chris-Anne, and I've known her for a long time. So every time I pick this deck up, I think of her, and I just think, of like how many people have this deck, how popular it is, and it just makes me so happy that so many people get to experience this. And it absolutely, even, you know, like there are hard cards in it too, but it just really, really lifts my spirits. As you can see, like I've been reading with it, so some of them are upside down. It is just so gorgeous. I'm sure many of you have a copy of this deck, or have like the tinned version, or maybe the Kickstarter version. Yeah, it's just beautiful. And it does make me very much think of an energy booster. And watching Chris-Anne create this deck on Instagram before the Kickstarter was so cool. And she's just a super authentic person, and this is a very authentic creation. And it just makes me very, very happy. So this is my energy booster, the Light as Sears Tarot, my Espresso Martini. The next drink is Manhattan, and I have heard of it, never had it. And it is a deck to take your time with. And I had to pick the Tarot of the Drowning World. Now, I could have picked a bazillion decks. Maybe not a bazillion, that's a bit of an exaggeration. But I went with the Tarot of the Drowning World because the more time you spend with this deck, the more it has to offer you. It is a very, very long deck. It kind of reminds me of the Joanna Stewart's deck. I'm probably saying that completely incorrectly. Here are the backs. Probably my least favorite thing about this deck is the backs. If it had like flowers, like these flowers, I think it would have just been so much prettier, but I get the reasoning for it a bit. But I'm going to make sure it's in the frame. There is so much in this deck. It is unbelievable. And each one of these was photographed in a tub. And just definitely something to take your time with and to sit with. And I love this archway frame. I can't even imagine how much time and effort went into the creation of these. And while this is a deck that I have to admit, I rarely get out. This is one of those decks where, for me, it is a work of art. It is a deck that is, this beautiful, deep work of art. And I think the reason why I did put it as the Manhattan as well is because it does invite you to dive into it. And, some of these images could be confronting because of the element of water and because of the darkness in it. But I think it is really something amazing. It's just, really, really cool. It is very, when we get to the coins, the deniers, So with the 5 of coins, it does become very pip-esque, but this is like one of the most effort given pip decks I've ever seen. And so I backed this on, I believe it was on Kickstarter, and this is how I got this deck. But the painstaking effort that has gone into this cannot be understated, and or overstated. Yes, overstated, I think is the word. And I just think it is stunning. This is a work of art, and one that I think invites you to take your time with it. I don't know if you can still get this one either. And again, I apologize if I put some of these decks that you can't get anymore. Oh, we have the names. It's been a while since I've had this out. But the chariot with the wagon. Oh my gosh, like look at the cavalier. I believe that's the Knight of Swords. The sun. It's just so beautiful. The moon. The devil. Like it's just, look at that. The emperor. The cups. The Hierophant. Just gorgeous. I love it. Really amazing. So that is my Manhattan, the Tarot of the Drowning World. The next drink is a Mojito, and it is the palate cleanser. I'm not into mojitos. If I ever did drink, I have had a sip or two of a mojito. Not really my thing, but I had to choose, come on, I had to put one of my decks in here. My newest, the Cosmic Wisdom Tarot, and I put it in here because it really is a palate cleanser. Like I can pick this up, reset, and, you know, get up and go with it. And I also think it's a really fun palette cleanser because of the book as well. You can just get in there, do it really quickly, have a look at whatever symbol is really speaking to you, and it doesn't mess around. It's uncomplicated, perfect refresher and palette cleanser. And I am, of course, very proud of this deck. I'm proud of all of my my decks, and so I wanted to at least put one of my babies in here. I'm aware this is really out of order. I'm very upside down because of doing client readings. But yeah, it was my palette cleanser, something that I could easily pick up no matter where I am, what I'm doing, and just go with it. And very easy to read with, and just makes me very happy. Very out of order and upside down, so I apologize. But a very simple choice for a palette cleanser, and having something that is, as you can see, Rider-Waite Smith based is a very palette cleansing experience for me because it is the system that I work with the most, and I teach with, and I, you know, write with. So of course it's going to be something that is shown, oh my goodness, what is it? In this deck. So I applaud you if you're still watching with all the ups and downs, but this is my palette cleanser, my Mojito, and it is my Cosmic Wisdom Tarot. And thank you for indulging me and letting me put one of my my own decks in this little tag. The next drink is a Bloody Mary, and it is the problem solving deck. Never had a Bloody Mary. The smell of it makes my stomach turn, so there would be not a blinking chance. But I chose the Super Lunaris Tarot for this, and The reason why is because I think because of the people in these decks that it makes it very easy to problem solve, because it is modern, but it is tarot, and that was why. I am not always a huge photo manipulation person. Like these are manipulated photos. They have filters on them. All the stuff from MJ, like the Crow Tarot, she does something very similar. Yeah, and I'm not always a fan of the way that it looks, but I think this deck is done so well, and I have read for a lot of people. I have both editions of this deck, and it reads really, really, really beautifully. It's something that a lot of people pick when I do readings at fairs, and it's such an easy problem-solving deck because it is relatable as a modern tarot reader, but it does keep some of the imagery and symbolism of the classic tarot. So you'll see some of these photos that have been used in these images, and you will have gone, oh, and I know that photo, I've seen that elsewhere. So it's definitely like this is a pretty well-used stock photo, but I think it's done really, really well. I think it's really beautifully done, and it is a very easy deck to read with and work with. Like this one, not my favorite card, and that's because I can see this very glaring filter that was put on it, and it's a little distracting, but I think that's probably the only card in here that really jars me. But yeah, I really like the Super Lunaris. This is the first edition, remember? I do believe you can still get this deck. And this is my problem-solving Bloody Mary pick for the tag. The next drink is called a French 75. No idea what that is. I actually looked it up. Never had one. But it is a deck for a special occasion. And I picked, and I'm really sorry because you can't get this deck anymore, the Spirit Keepers Tarot. I'm very, very fortunate that I have two editions. I have the original first edition of the Spirit Keepers and the Revelation edition, and they are both spectacular. They're both by Benebell, and they're just gorgeous. So I want to show you both of them. Okay, we'll start with the first edition. So this was the back and the gold. Now, the reason why I put this as a deck for a special occasion is because I usually use this deck for myself. I like to read with a deck that I'm not extremely comfortable with, because it can be a lot less tempting to read the cards for myself and go into bias of what I think I already know about the cards when it is a system that I don't necessarily know inside out and backwards. The talent of Benebell cannot be freaking understated. I don't know how she does it. And there is so much in this. I have the course, I have all of the books in print, and there's a number of them, and they're just incredible. The symbols in this, the amount of work that went into all these lines and dots. I remember watching her create both editions and just being in awe. And so this is the first one, which is black and white. And these are decks also that you would have to pry out of my cold dead hands. Sorry about it. This is the back for the Revelation edition. I've had two copies of both of these over the years, and I've actually auctioned one off for charity when there was the Australian bushfires a few years back, to help the conservation of animals. And I think the other one was auctioned off for something else as well. So this one has the I Ching or the in here as well. And so beautiful. So this is coloured and updated art. And so beautiful. So beautiful. I still have like the magnet that came with this on my fridge. And if I really want to, you know, get out of my own way and do a quick reading for myself, or a study of esoteric tarot, this is what I'm going to go into. And I do often get readings from other tarot professionals when I am way too close to the situation, because I think there is a time to get a reading from someone else. But these are my choices for the French 75, the special occasion deck, and it's the Spirit Keepers Tarot by Annabelle Wen. The next tag and drink, well, the next drink, not tag, is the Aviation, which is the wildcard deck when you're feeling adventurous. And I had to look up at what an Aviation is. All I think of with Aviation is the gin that Ryan Reynolds' company but I picked the Farsight Tarot. This is from 2006, this deck. It is a big deck. And I put this in another pouch for some reason, the book. I actually think you can still get this. I got this in Australia, and it's really beautiful. The guidebook is spiral bound and is in colour. And this is definitely something you want to take your time with, and something that is for adventurousness. So in 1997 was when the creator Helen came across tarot. Oh my gosh, look! To Ethany, with kind regards from Helen, the 1st of the 10th, 2007. This is number 25 of 50 sets of the first edition of the Farsight Tarot, printed in December 2006. Oh my gosh, I didn't even know. I forgot that was in there. Crazy. So there you go, guys. It came in this pouch. This is a pouch that actually was hand sewn by Helen. It is, again, a very large deck. So I'm just going to use my Cosmic Wisdom for a size comparison. But it's one of those decks where the artwork is so beautiful, you know, you don't really mind. But I mean, if I was going to be shuffling with this, I would be able to do it. But even for me, it's quite large. But it is so gorgeous. Look at the amount of detail in this deck. And this is definitely for when I'm feeling adventurous and want to have, oh, look at that, spare card, a reading that is completely different. Much like the last one, for special occasions. But this is a very adventurous deck for me. It's large. It would take some effort to work with in that way. It's very different. Like, this is like, you know, the sun card, but it's got mangoes and an older gentleman. Look at the Earth Boy, Wild Thing. The artwork, this is another one of those decks where it's just like, wow. This is a piece of this is just like a walking or portable art gallery. Just gorgeous. Oh, there's 2 Earth Boys. There you go. And I don't think I have ever seen anyone talk about this deck ever on the tubes. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to bring out something that ennui that I have not seen before for a long time, or, you know, I haven't cracked it out because I really went deep on this one for a lot of them, and bring this one out. Look at the love, it's so beautiful. Oh, the hidden hand, like it's just so gorgeous. Another Lovers card. That fortitude, like look at that. Oh, and again, this is 11, so not something that I would normally have as the strength, but look at the tranquility card. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. And how I would probably work with this, because it is such a big deck, and I love these parrots from Australia, is I would probably pull one card from here and have this as a central theme, and then do a reading around it. But I think it is gorgeous, and like I said, I don't see people talking about it, so I wanted to bring it out. So that is my pick for the Aviation. Oh my gosh, I was just talking about the fires and how I auctioned off my spirit keepers for the wildlife there, and there we go. Connections. That is my wildcard deck for when I'm feeling adventurous. And oh, just to give it to you again, it's called the Farsight Tarot. The final drink for the tag is the usual, and this is like the deck that you would normally go to. And I thought about what decks I've been using a lot, and a deck that I have been using a lot recently since it came out is the Tarot of the Witch's Garden by Natasha Ilinik. I'm probably saying that incorrectly, I'm so sorry, and Sasha Graham. And this deck is so fucking beautiful. I have already bought a backup copy because I have been using it so much. And the book is gorgeous and full color. Like, what a way to enjoy the incredible artwork that Natasha has created. I would just look through this art. Look at this art. It's the detail. I mean, I would just get this deck multiple times just to support Sasha and Natasha. Now, I actually quite like that Llewellyn did the finish that is of the linens. The back is beautiful. I have the Witches, Compendium of Witches as well deck. And I have been reading with this since it came out. Oh my gosh, again, it's going to be one of these ones. Sorry, guys. And it hasn't left my reading space. And I think that might be, I guess, the highest praise I can give to a deck. I adore that it is very witchy, but it is very easy to read. The detail in this artwork, it's like you discover something new every time. I love everything about this. This is like the fantasy world, right, that you would want to live in if you grew up with magical tales. And it's, I don't even know how to what else I can say about how I think this deck is pretty much perfect. It is really beautiful. Every reading of Habit that has been exquisite. It makes me very, very, very happy. And this is the copy, this one here, where there was a print error, where Justice and the Wheel were incorrect, and I've just left it. I think the second copy I got was fixed, but I don't know. You know, I don't actually open some of the second copies. I probably should, right? Just like checking, but I don't. A lot of the time I just leave them in the thing until I need them. So gorgeous. Yeah, I would buy multiple copies of this deck just to support these two incredible creators. Because the amount of time that must have gone into the creation of this artwork, and being mass, you know, having a deck that is printed mass production is fantastic, but it doesn't make you a millionaire. It doesn't make you, yeah, see, it was misprinted in here as well. So the Wheel of Fortune was printed as 11 and Justice was as 10, but that's okay. Again, don't really care. This is a first edition. You know, I'm lucky to have one of the first editions that has got that error in it, but it is the usual because of the fact that I use it all the time, and that is the Tarot of the Witch's Garden. I hope you enjoyed the video and my choices, and make sure you go and watch everybody else's videos. You can just find all of them using the tag if you just click the hashtag. And thank you so much for stopping by, and I'll see you all next time.